All right, so this video is just a brief introduction to the website project. All right, we're going to start working on it now, but the expectation is not that you finish it over the next few classes. All right, this project is going to stay with us until the end of the course. All right, and the way that it's going to work is we're going to learn a little about HTML, then you're going to work on your website for a little bit. Then we're going to learn a little bit more about HTML, and then you're going to go back to your website. Then we're going to learn a little bit about JavaScript. Then you're going to go back to your website and add to it. So it's going to slowly build with us as we work through the quarter. So periodically you will have like 2 or 3 days to work on the website, but it's not due at the end of those 2 or 3 days. It's going to stick with us and not be due until the end of the quarter. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the requirements just so that we're clear on that. So the site will have some required elements, but for the most part, you get to kind of make it what you want. So you can do it on a topic of your choosing as long as it's school appropriate. There's just certain things from a coding perspective that I'm going to require. All right, so every page should have a title tag. All right, there should be links to the different pages. So I shouldn't have to launch each page separately. If I launch page 1, I should have a way to be able to click on links to get to page 2 or page 3. You should use pictures throughout the site. There has to be at least one table that you create in your site. There has to be at least one ordered or unordered list that you create in your site. Obviously, there should be text, and that should be a mix of paragraph tags and heading tags based on how you're using the text. Each page should link in an external CSS file. And at some point in the site, you should be using at least 2 different positioning techniques. So that includes relative, absolute, fixed, or sticky, but you should be using at least 2 of those at some point in your site. So on the back page of this, there's a checklist. And this is what you can just use to sort of keep yourself organized. So again, 3 unique pages, browser title on each page, include the file style.css on every page, links to the other pages in your site, use of pictures, use of a table, use of an ordered or unordered list, use of regular text, use of heading text, and then 2 different positioning techniques. The only other reminder down here is that most of your formatting should be happening in the CSS sheet, not the pages themselves. All right. When people make websites, most of the formatting, if not all the formatting, is happening in separate CSS sheets. The pages themselves are just for the HTML tags that are needed to create the objects. All right. So most of the formatting should happen there. Now, the only other thing I want to show you, and then it's really up to you to sort of get started on this, is these are the files that I've included. All right. There's a style.css, which is empty. All right, there's a page 3 and a page 2, which are also empty. So there's nothing in those. And then on page 1, I did give you sort of a starting template. So we've got doc type HTML. We've got a starting and ending HTML tag. We have our starting and ending head tag. The title goes inside of the head. This is how we would link in the style sheet. And then there's a starting and empty body tag for all the stuff that you need to put in there. All right, so this is sort of there as a template that you can use on the other pages. The only other thing that I want to mention when you're working on this project is if you're getting pictures, make sure that you save the pictures in the same folder as these files. Or if you don't save them there, at least move the pictures into this folder. All right. When we're setting up the pictures, your life is going to be a lot easier if the picture's in the same folder, because then all we need to do is use the name of the picture. If you try to keep the picture in a separate folder, you have to put a big long location in, and that's going to make it even harder when you try to submit it and grade it, because the location is going to be different and it's going to be a nightmare. So just make sure that whatever folder you end up putting these files in, right, probably the zip folder or the zip file that I give you, make sure that any pictures you download are added to this folder and not somewhere else on your computer. Or if you download them someplace else, make sure you move them to this location. All right, so really that's all I've got. This was, again, just a brief introduction so that you would know what to expect. Again, you'll have a few days to work on this, but it won't be due at the end of those days. It's something that we're going to stick with for a while, but you just want to be making steady progress on this because there are going to be other requirements that we continue to add as we work through the quarter. So if you don't get some of this stuff done, you're just going to start falling behind when I start adding additional things that your site needs to include. All right, so good luck, and obviously reach out if you have any questions. All right.